Our Across the Aisle segment tonight. Love them or hate them, Michelle Obama, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump are the most fashionable ladies in recent history to call the White House their home, but they're already being treated very differently. Up-and-coming fashion designers have spent the last 8 years rushing to dress Mrs. Obama, but now at least one prominent designer, Sophie Thallet, is refusing to dress First Lady-elect Melania Trump because Thallet claims President-elect Donald Trump's campaign was racist, sexist, and xenophobic. Now joining me to discuss, attorney and Democratic strategist Adam Sostrin. Adam, thanks for being here.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm kind of a fashionista, so this is really perfect for me.
Good, that's perfect. That's exactly why we invited you here. Adam, let me ask you about this, though.
Yes.
Putting fashion aside just for a second, I mean, this is a pivotal part of being a first lady at this point, the appearance, the image that goes into the role, the host. And like I said in the introduction, a lot of up-and-coming fashion designers have made their name dressing Michelle Obama. She dresses beautifully, but I guess not wanting to dress Melania because this fashion designer doesn't agree with her husband's views. Are we just changing the standards now? Is denying service to someone because you disagree with them now suddenly not considered bigotry?
Well, I guess I think in today's times, people are more likely to do things like that. You know, this was a really heated election, and I sort of felt like Dick Morris at the end of the election. I had chosen one candidate, but it was another candidate who won. She has a right to do this, of course, just as much as you have a right to burn the American flag.
Right.
Right.
No, I actually agree with you. You have a right to burn the American flag. I mean, I might glare at you, I might judge you, but you have a right to do it.
Right.
But if we have a right to do this, if this woman, this designer, has a right to deny service to Melania Trump based off of her, based off of the designer's own beliefs, doesn't that apply to the Christian cake bakers, the Christian photographers who were sued and had their businesses ruined because they didn't want to participate in a gay wedding because they didn't agree with that politically?
Well, as far as the same-sex marriage, I mean, that was that's sort of enshrined now. That's sort of considered part of our Constitution. The Supreme Court made a ruling on it, so you can't discriminate on people based on, a number of factors, and including whether or not they're gay.
How is this different, though? I mean, the president's enshrined in our Constitution too. The First Lady, respect for the leaders of our country, is also enshrined in our country. How is this any different?
Well, fortunately, actually, I've been watching the TV show The Crown. We don't have a king in this country.
Right.
You have a right to say no to the king. You have a right to say no to Trump. You have a right to say no to Melania. These things are okay. This is what it means to be, in a free society.
Right, and I agree with you. I think that there's a double standard here. I'm wondering if you see this hypocrisy. If we have a right to say no, why didn't the photographer have a right to say, no, it's against my religious belief to participate in a gay wedding, not to deny you service as a gay person, but to participate in a gay wedding? Why didn't they have a right to say no to that?
Okay, well, you're talking about that. You're talking about a protected class. With respect to what's happening
all Americans are protected class. We don't have specific classes that are protected one over the other.
Well, we do with respect to certain things. With respect to your, religion is a protected class. Your, being, what sex you are is a protected class, and whether or not you have a right to, be gay, to be yourself. Those are all protected classes. They are protected in our Constitution. There's different layers of scrutiny that are applied.
Right. So
depending on
are women a protected class, in your opinion?
Well, yes. Sex roles are. Sex is that is a protected class.
Well, Melania Trump is a woman. Why isn't she protected?
Well, she's not discriminating, of course, against all women. We know that she's a
just
designer.
Women with conservative views.
Women who have a husband who is Donald Trump.
So she's being discriminated against not only for something she didn't even do, but for something that her husband did. Now in our culture, we hold women accountable for what their husbands do.
Well, I mean, we hold a lot of couples accountable based on what their husbands or wives do. That's why we don't go out to dinner with certain people versus other people.
That's true. Okay, but that standard, though, I just don't think that this is a logical standard. We didn't hold Hillary Clinton accountable for things her husband did.
Well, I think in a way, I mean, perhaps we did a little bit in this election cycle. Who knows what the reasons were for, all the votes that went for Trump versus Hillary in this election. So we always are sort of holding people accountable based on their spouses, their significant others. I know my friends do if I'm in a bad relationship, for instance.
All right, I guess my last question here is just, I do agree with you. This designer has every right to say no. She doesn't have to dress Melania Trump. It's probably not a great business decision, but that's her call. That's her call. But do you think that it should be the right of these photographers, these cake bakers, anybody in the nation to deny service based off of their particular belief, to exercise their right to be the person they want to be and not be forced to do one thing or the other?
Well, when you are discriminating against people based on a class that's protected, no, you can't do that. Absolutely not.
So the standard is different then. Adam, I got to say that's all the time we have for today, but thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.